Thank you to my good friend from Texas for those inspiring words, and I will now yield 3 minutes to my good friend from Kentucky, Representative Massie.
I want to thank Mr. Clyde from Georgia for organizing this time on the floor. I think it's so important. We're talking about the brace ruling from the ATF. A brace is a firearm accessory for disabled individuals. But I'm sure Biden went to his Attorney General and to the ATF and said, you know what, I hate guns. How can I take millions of them off the street without regard for if they're legally owned? And how can I do it without going to Congress? Because I really don't want to do that. Now keep in mind, this is administrative law.
Right.
Our founders were against this type of thing because they knew that the laws shouldn't change with each administration. When Democrats controlled both chambers of Congress and the White House, they didn't pass this legislation. This ATF rule says that gun owners have 120 days of amnesty to register or destroy their firearm if it has this firearm accessory. If you don't obey, you become a felon. What this administrative rule does not do is it does not make people safer. This ruling turns millions of law-abiding gun owners into criminals. Tens of millions of pistol braces have been sold in the United States with the permission of the ATF, the written permission of the ATF. They're telling you to take this off or transfer it or register it like a machine gun, basically the same paperwork. If you want to turn it into a short barrel rifle, guess what? There's 26% of Americans live in a state where the ATF has left them with no option. They will create an illegal gun in their state if they comply with the ATF ruling in order to keep their gun. How much compliance do we think there's going to be? Well, there was a bump stock rule similar to this. There are about 500,000 bump stocks estimated in circulation. 526 have been returned to the government. Mm-hmm. So they've made 500,000 felons is what they've done. Now, Mr. Clyde has several bills to fix this. I can anticipate, or I believe, Justice Scalia, if he were alive, I can tell you, I believe, based on a meeting that I had with him, which one he would prefer. Mm-hmm. Several of us had breakfast with Scalia, and we said, oh, Obama's so bad, and we don't have the constitutional balance of government. Fix this for us, Supreme Court. And Scalia said, this is not my job to referee fights between you and the executive branch. By the way, you're the most powerful branch. You're Article 1. Right. And you have all the tools you need to stop what he's doing. And one of my colleagues said, well, impeachment's so hard. Scalia said, I'm not talking about impeachment. You are funding everything you complain about.
Right.
So I believe that his favorite method here, and it's certainly my favorite method, would have been to defund this activity. The ruling is unconstitutional. The Second Amendment is clear. Shall not be infringed means shall not be infringed. I urge all Americans to call their representatives and support Andrew Clyde's bill. And I yield back.
Thank you. Thank you to my good friend from Kentucky.